Okay, y'all, I got a question for you to my married folk. Do you know, and of course you do know the answer to this because you use them. Do you know the words that would trigger your spouse in a negative way? And do you know the words that would trigger them in a healthy way? Stop using the other ones. For instance, if if I use words like with my wife, and it's something I did early on in our marriage, and this we've been married 16 years now. But I'll say like, no, you really taking the victim stance right now. Yo, when I say that, I ain't no victim. Okay? Taka. Turn into Taka, all right? Shout out brownie points to anybody that can tell me what movie that's from. But anyway, you know the word. So for instance, like she'll use a word with me like, you acting scared. I'm like, yo, I ain't scared. I'll let you know when there's something that I'm afraid of or whatever. But God didn't give me a spirit of fear. Let's be easy here. But that is a word that may trigger me. We have words, and there's several other ones. Yeah, right? Words do have power, and there's certain words that may trigger your spouse. Now, I'm not saying this is not something they can't get over, or things like that, but you know these words, and you use them. Why? Because you're hurt or you're frustrated, and instead of communicating to your spouse like, hey, your behavior did this, or focusing on the actual pain that you experience or the feeling that you have, you would prefer to use certain words that would trigger them. Why? Because you want them to feel the way you feel. You want them at the same level of frustration or anger as hurt as you. So now you're not trying to resolve problems, but instead you're just trying to get your lick back. And in a marriage, we have to avoid that. This is your teammate. You all are one flesh. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Read Genesis 3, I think that is. Okay? No, that's Genesis 2. Okay? So when you understand this, you know that to hurt your spouse means to hurt yourself. To put down your spouse is to put down yourself. To neglect your spouse is to neglect yourself. Literally in New Testament, Paul writes in Ephesians how men, we are to love our spouses like we love our own bodies. That's why your boy done lost over 100 pounds now. I said, oh, shoot. Okay, because I ain't been loving me. So ain't no way I've been loving you properly because I ain't even been loving me. There's so many things that we can look at in the Bible where it talks about like the fact that how we love ourselves is the same demonstration in how we're going to pursue our spouses and love them, or the submission to one another, dying to self. Like there's so many examples of, if you can't even die to yourself and your own flesh, it will show up in your marriage. It will show up in how you treat people. It will show up in how you navigate life. Stop using these words, man. Words have power. The power of life, of death is in the tongue. Do you know in James, I want to say 1, it's James 1 and 2. It's only 4 chapters in James. You just dig in there, right? He talks about how powerful the tongue is. How like if you could tame the tongue, then you can literally tame everything else about your life. If you could get this here tongue intact, you can have discipline with your tongue. All right, so that's all I got for y'all today.